Mm.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, Carl, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. That call was a really interesting one. It was with everybody in the cohorts, for the different, all the cohorts. There's a sustainability one. There's a foundations one. There's a federations one with all the teams and stuff, and or some teams. So it's very interesting. And then, of course, the media and esports.
Yeah. Excellent.
So it was very good. I've learned a lot. This is we need to get these guys going fast because there's a lot we got to do in 2 months, and we have to at the end have something that's presentable. As here we did this much, and we're on the way to that much, and validations and that kind of stuff. So we got to rock these guys.
Yeah.
And obviously, the most important part right now is to get this funding because then I can start paying. People are saying, yeah, I'll do it. And I want part shares, but I also need the part money. That's,
Yep.
so especially now, I think people are really feeling the pinch with COVID and everything. It's going a lot more serious on that side of things. So they just locked down Beijing again. You hear that?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be nice when they figure out a vaccine or something like that. Right now it's like, I had it in January, so I don't really give a shit. But for everybody else, it's like, it's a big thing. And there was one politician here in the United States. He said, I guess in April, he said, "Listen, this is already getting long in the tooth. I just want to get it and get it over with." And everyone said, "Oh, he's so bad." But that, once you have it, it's like you feel done. You sort of conquered. You got to the top of the mountain, certainly I'm feeling like, okay, so everyone else got to worry about it. I don't got to worry about it.
Yeah. But we have to solve other problems. We cannot solve the problems of the world. We have some other people who are supposed to do it.
Exactly. And they suck at it, but that's another story. So what I got to worry about is how we're going to get to the point where we have a viable product and we have the people on board.
Yep.
I sort of liked where it went yesterday with starting to get into the weeds about the video, because that's going to be important. I mean, you can't help but think that video is going to be important in what we're doing. So I want to make sure that we do have that.
Video is 80% of the internet traffic, exactly. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no choice. And someone wrote back and said that they thought it was a little bit long, because obviously we went deep in the weeds with the video, but we sort of have to. And I like the concept. Kelly and I spoke afterwards, and she said that on her smart TV, they have that Plex as an app. So I went on to, it's there. And they have basically the same things as Hulu and the other guys. They have all the broadcast channels and everything.
Yeah.
If
there's a company who actually does it.
So
it's a company who creates apps, multiple apps, TV apps, and everything else, like in the blink of an eye.
And that's Plex.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I went and looked at it, and we could have a UB Sports channel tomorrow if we wanted to.
Correct.
And I don't know the pricing. I have a call into them to find out what it would be.
Right. I met the founder early on. He said, well, I was completely wrong in pricing. First, I just offered everything for $2,000 a month. And then NBC and everyone else bought it. I said, no, it's too cheap. So he doubled and tripled and 5 times and 10 times and still.
So what is it now
paying it. Huh?
What is it now a month?
I don't know. I mean, it was 2 or 3 years ago when I talked to him.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is. But it's like the best thing you could get. Yeah. All apps, Android, native, TV, you name it, like, boom, done.
And that's Plex? That's a company, or Plex is one of the apps they built?
Plex is one of the apps they built.
Okay, so we got to find out who that company is.
It's actually right next to my former office in nearby Apple and Netflix. I can find out the name of the company. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to find that out. If we can get an app that sits on Vizio and Samsung and Sony, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, pretty damn good. But I'm sure there's more companies now doing it, because I remember they had an offer which they couldn't refuse, I think from NBC or Comcast or something. So but there's similar companies now.
What's interesting there is that Bill Clark, the guy who was on the call yesterday, he works for NBC. So he's one producer, and he does a lot of videos for them. So he might be a great contact to get into that. If it is NBC, we'll know what's going on with them.
Yeah. No, I know a few NBC people, as you know.
Yeah, of course.
As well. But let's figure out first product. So we're going to have a website. We're going to have a video. We're going to have content. I mean, your team already touched base on some key principles. 100% agree. But I think most important is what do we need to deliver by when to Hype?
We'll know on Thursday. They're coming out with the deliverables then. So I'll know a lot more then as far as what they went through today was the methodology, how we get from here to there, and how we use different strategies to think about like where we're going to be a month from now, looking back on today, what we should have done today. Yeah. And they called it forward something, reverse planning, what they called it actually.
Yeah.
So
that's Amazon style.
Yeah, and it's OKR. It's what you do, and so we have to make sure that the team understands that we've got. That's why I sent that email out that said we need 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 week, 4 week targets, so we know where we should be today and what we got to do to get there. And so we've got to get as soon as we start like getting these guys incited by shares and cash. It's going to be a lot easier, obviously, but. I think it's going to happen in the next couple of days. We're going to have the first $250,000 in. And from then on, we're going to be sprinting. I'm going to be banging these guys every day. What did you do today?
Right. By the way, did you finish the financial plan?
It's almost finished. I had to take a step back to work on the stuff they needed last week for Hype.
Did you share it with Hype?
They saw the one before this one. That's before the subscriptions and all that stuff. Because that changed the whole model, the way this is growing with the subscriptions.
Yeah.
And I think the way we're going to bill for that and get paid and the profit margins we're going to have for that.
I mean, when it comes to my role immediately, that's probably one of the big things I would need to look into.
All right, I'll have it done with you. I'll have it to you tomorrow about this time.
All right.
Okay, that'll be my first.
So that's where I can jump on and sink my teeth in. In terms of a role, I mean, I can help you with setting up the team, managing the team to a certain degree.
Right.
But I think at the beginning, it will be more a kind of chief strategy officer or strategy role, because there's a lot of loose ends which you need to put together. And then the other one is the vacancy of the day is the product head, I guess.
Yeah.
You have multiple cooks, but you don't have someone who is actually in charge of the product, and the product is so complex, so many loose ends that you need to have a rock star.
Yeah, or a couple of them.
Do you have anyone in mind?
I actually am going to me, basically.
Okay.
And I think it actually takes two people. It takes me to handle like the product, and we definitely need John to take over the actual tech part of it. And he and I have to be on exactly the same page. As soon as we get this first $250,000, I'm going to go to California and talk to the head of the development company and sit down with him and just go through every single hair of this. Make sure we have.
So we have identified already a development company.
Yeah, I think we're going to use a company called MyZeal IT. They've done hundreds of sites, and they're based in California, but they're basically developers are in India and the UK.
And drop me the website if you have, please.
Yes, of course.
I can take a look at it.
Yep. Yeah, they have a lot of good stuff going on, and the price is fantastic. So they have great testimonials. The people I spoke with who used them said that they came out of the box working, and if they had any glitches, they fixed them in 6-12 months within like a day or two and for free. So that was good. But, we're going to be, after we get out of the box, one of the things we talked about on the call yesterday was that, we're going to be having a development team outside basically doing the original move over from Ruby on Rails to ASP.NET and onto the either AWS or Google platform. I really hope it's Google Cloud because I think it makes a lot more sense. And it'll make more sense after I'm talking to one of the customer relationship guys on Friday from Google. And I just sent him an email saying, one thing I want to know is where you're going with video. What's the next step? How are you going to have that better than anyone else in the near term?
So, I mean, as you know, the IBM cloud is good because they acquired Ustream.
Yeah.
Which used to be, so I wouldn't underestimate those guys, particularly when it comes to new technologies, including artificial intelligence and you name it, they are pretty good. When it comes to kind of the nuts and bolts, Google is for sure trying to grab market share from AWS right now, 100%. Microsoft right is in the middle somehow.
What's interesting with them is apparently, according to my resident video genius, is he says that Google's coming out with something that will cut lag down and increase the quality for video, especially with gaming. And if we're going to be working with the esports people, that's going to be key on their mind.
Yeah,
so,
correct.
And you should have a conversation sometime when I'm speaking with this guy. He's a genius. He's so freaking smart. He talks stuff up here like it was kindergarten.
You mean Mr. Andrews?
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, well, not Andrews. Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew, as you know, I joined the call and I gave you my feedback. I agree. He is a genius.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, literally, you can actually say Einstein-like. So, and he's working on this quantum computing, and I thought it was going to be 3 to 5 years. He's saying like 1.5 to 2. So, which is more important that we nail the proper cloud immediately, because we don't have to change that a year from now.
No.
Once they work out their specs.
Yep.
So that's going to be. I'll go back. We'll go back to him and ask him. What he thinks we should be doing and where should we be going. I'm sure he was working on. When I spoke with him the last time, he said he's working on who should be the best for that. So I think if Plex might be the right answer for instead of JW to be the player. I think one of the problems with JW is that they force you apparently to use their cloud and their storage. And that sort of surprised me when Bill told me that. I didn't think that was true. I thought we could grab it out of our own database. But I have a call with JW in a couple of days too. And we're going to try to nail it down. I want to have it done. I want to have like that. We know what we're doing with the video component because that really is like one of the core concepts that we need to have nailed. Community, I think, we're going to be another community. We're going to be another social network, and we need to have that as smooth and painless as possible and ubiquitous. It has to be real time and traveling over all our devices immediately. So that I think also falls into the ASP.NET category, and with JavaScript in particular. So that part works good. I think what I'm most concerned with here is the next steps with how we get content and how we then relay it to the members.
100%. Content is not cheap. Content is the opposite. And creating original content like anyone else does, like Acer, for example, here from London, which is also part of the Hype accelerator.
Uh-huh.
They acquired a significant stake in the Whistle Sports,
Right.
and they just did an interesting maneuver with Otro Sports. Have you heard
Really?
of Otro?
I've heard of it. I didn't know what they did.
Yeah, they took an American company and they joined forces and they acquired Otro from 23 Capital.
Uh-huh.
And Otro made headlines because they had David Beckham and all the top current football players lined up to do original content.
Right.
But there was no business model behind it. So after a couple of months spending a lot of money, they kind of fall flat on the face. So
Yeah,
it's
that's hard to
cheap
keep
for
up with.
Acer.
Yeah.
But
So-
they have right. So Acer, for example, is good in original content creation for sports. And there is Duckout, and there is a couple of others, which is not original rights like from top leagues, which you cannot afford those rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can buy nice packages from Whistle, from Otro, and anyone else. So, and then you need to find the right mix of professional content and user-generated content, which is another big thing.
Right. Well, the user-generated, obviously, I'm counting on having a good system. Like it's set up right now, actually, to catch content. I think what it has to work out is the methodology by which the user content ends up being seen by everybody instead of just people who are following a member's blog. So
yeah, that's why TikTok is so successful.
Exactly.
Because they use artificial intelligence.
Well, it's have to be number one. If we can get AI to take care of that, that'd be great. The other part of that, and the safety concerns are very important when it comes to that, and that's one of the things that concerns me. We need to have community managers, starting with the athlete on the top of each one of the sport portals. And, we have to have buttons on every piece of content that comes out that says, like, this ain't good. Pull us down.
Right. I mean, what we need to start now is creating documents. One is the product document with product features and potentially an architecture and infrastructure document. And then the other document is the org chart type, where you have all the people and anything else all together and functionalities and a little bit around that management thing.
Well, that was the idea about having that call yesterday, is to start getting the groups set up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Was
well, you have to lead it. Yeah. No one is going to do it themselves.
I know. That's exactly right. And so I'm having the calls with each one of the people to make sure they're on board, first of all, where they feel more comfortable, and then start assigning where, who's doing what and who's leading what group.
Yeah, find out what kind of model they prefer, cash versus equity, and then put something together. But there's a lot of work ahead of you, and for sure there is a leadership and a management role, which will not be easy, considering you have e-commerce, you have content, you have partners, and you have the associations and clubs and anything else. So it's rather complex.
It is. It's a big thing. And the hard part is that we are just starting to get to know each other on the group, but they're good. I mean, I like this team. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of creds, and they've done a lot of good stuff. Problem is now getting them focused on what they need to do and have them start working together. But we've basically figured out 5 strata of the community that we really want to hit. So I want to make sure that we have people who can address each one of them. The universities, the high schools, the actual pro leagues and teams, and the colleges, of course.
Yeah.
And then the outside, the AAU type of people, the amateur sports. So those are basically, there's some overlap there, but they're different organizations. And then there's the trainers and the coaches that cross over each one of those. So operationally, we need to have a way to documentation, number one, and a sales pitch for each one of them. And what the key drivers are to have them join with UB Sports.
Hmm.
And we need those action points. We need to know the pain. We need to know the action points. That's going to make
Yep.
things actionable.
So aside from that, you also do the fundraising, right? Or do you have help?
I have the investment bankers online, and we have like one guy said he's going to take all $5 million, and he should get his money in the next week or so. He's already put me in touch with some of his investors. He's also an investment advisor. So he put me in touch with a couple of his investors. And one of them is about to drop money daily, tomorrow or the next day, I think.
Hmm.
So that'll be the first, $250,000 that comes in. Roughly speaking, it could be 200, could be 300 in that range. But we need whoever gets the first 250 is getting $2 a share instead of $3 a share. So that first 250 is going to be even happier than the rest of the crew. But yeah,
you have legal.
Sorry,
you have legal support and everything else to get those things done.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we have a good attorney who's basically written and approved all the documents for the subscription documents.
Good. Because the day is only 24 hours. That's the problem for you right now.
Last thing I want to do is say I'm an attorney, because I am not, and I don't want to be, and I hate freaking attorneys. So I'll let somebody else do it. But I want to have that nailed, right? So
yeah,
that's going to be more important because, right? I mean, literally, we have a company in the city called Polsinelli that wanted to work with us, and they've worked with the CAI people, with Rosemary and Cody. I don't know if you know those Centers for Excellence, and they're the ones who feed the Walton family their investments. So they've been using this company called Polsinelli that specializes in, number one, business formation, but two, also patents and copyrights. And that's another thing I want to make sure that we have nailed. Know that our workflow in the back office is definitely patentable. So as soon as we turn the corner and launch, we can start actually applying for the patents and stuff. So that's going to be key. And they're in the city. They're relatively cheap for startups. So, like $400 an hour or something like that. So that's actually very cheap for lawyers in the city.
For a partner, yeah.
Yeah.
It's $50 less than my partner.
Yeah. Really? That's good. Wait, so
But my partner was Wilson Sonsini, Goodrich, and Rosati.
And here in the city?
In San Francisco and in the Valley, because that's where I used to have my offices.
Do you think it's smarter to have somebody out there rather than here?
No, I think it doesn't matter these days anymore.
Yeah.
There's all blueprints of contracts, and try to keep them as little involved as possible, as necessary.
Yeah.
There's standards like contracts for convertible loan notes, for equity, shareholder agreements. Everything is available.
Yeah, it's all templated.
Exactly. So try to keep it as straightforward as possible. No sidelines, no side deals, and it should be fine.
Because that's that issue. So we've covered the video. The content will, I think, sort itself out when we talk to the developers, because they'll have tools that work, right, for forums, for messaging, for apps and that kind of stuff. And I think if we can get that nailed, now I am now getting resident texts or notifications from LinkedIn and everybody else. So that's going to be very simple. And most of that is responsive, but they also have apps. So we've got to play both of those games.
I mean, the product and the website and everything else around it is probably determined and driven by the financial model, right? How do you make money? And there is a transactional layer, meaning the e-commerce and everything else. And there is the content, and then there is the content, either advertising or subscription or pay-per-view or whatever model you have.
Right.
This alone is already complex. And then you have the multiple sports. So you have to multiply this times 30 or up to 100. And I think from my perspective, let's take a look at the financial model immediately and have this sorted. And then the product will flow automatically, because then you know the priorities and the infrastructure you need to support those business goals.
Yeah, agreed. Totally. So I'll get that to you tomorrow, and we can get together whenever you want. As far as taking that after you've had a chance to look at it, it's a cool model. It handles pretty much everything, and the pages interact with each other. There's the basic pages will update everything along the lines and something. So
got it.
Cool.
Good. So
All
what
right.
I suggest then is, if you're fine with the contract, sign the contract, and then you let me know how many hours I should work, and then the payment. We can see whenever this comes. And then at least we need to get something going, because time is running out.
Already, we just started. It's crazy. And you're absolutely right. Every day is like another, grains in the hourglass. I'm like, the hourglass isn't that big. So we've got to, I'll do that. Now, we're paying 10% for any money that comes in. So if you know anybody who wants to get in, 10%, we'll take whatever comes in. So keep that in mind. That's all. I think that's it.
Yeah, look.
Any other ideas on your side?
Plenty of ideas, but let's document stuff. Let's start putting those documents together. And and first let me review the financial model, and then once we have that cleared, we can get into the product and anything else at the same time, supporting the hype goals and making sure we're going to deliver something there.
Yeah, Thursday I'll know more what those are really. So I jumped into this thing, and all of a sudden they're saying, there's going to be this and this, but it's all good. But they're really using some really good stuff, and the thing I had today is already up on YouTube, so you can watch it. So
good. All right,
brother. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. Yeah, send me the stuff.
Yep, definitely.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye.